Hello, welcome to third grade. Thank you so much for tuning in to my back to school night video. Before I begin, I would just like to welcome all of our new families. We do have several new families here in third grade, and a welcome back to our returning families. We do have 27 students in our class this year, and I'm looking forward to having a wonderful time with each and every one of them. If you look in your child's homework folder, I did send home a packet tonight that will have everything I'm going to go over today in the video. So you can always refer back to this packet if you have any questions for me, or if you don't have time to watch the video tonight, please look at the packet and email me with any questions that you might have. So just looking here, I have a slideshow for you all to view, and it's just going to have the bullet points of what I'm going to go over tonight in this video. First up, we have our schedule and specials. So our schedule tends to fluctuate day to day depending on how much time we have for something and what needs to get done. But I do try to have our core subjects all be in the morning, just so you can keep that in mind if you do have appointments coming up, doctor's appointments, or different things that students might have to come in late or leave early. I do try to get the core subjects done in the morning, which is when I need them here most. We also have specials. So art is on Mondays. We have that right before lunch. Music classes have on Tuesday. Gym is Wednesday and Thursdays. Our class does have gym first period in the morning. So also keep that in mind going forward. Usually the grass is damp in the morning. So if your child wants to bring a dry pair of socks, because they do go outside as much as possible. And it's also chillier in the morning. So even on the warmer days, it might start off cold. So they might want to bring a St. Therese sweatshirt to wear outside and then take it off later in the day. Fridays are a very busy day for us in third grade. We have health, computers, and Spanish all right in a row, which really limits what I can do with the class in the morning. So typically on Fridays, I'll ask the class to just have one snack with them on Fridays. They can have more at lunch, but just one in the mornings. It just gives us time to get to those three specials. Also regarding specials, if at any point you have questions for those specific teachers, please feel free to email the specials teachers. They all do have their own email address. Next up, I have morning work. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, I use the first period as review and handwriting and phonics time. So usually the students will be assigned handwriting and phonics pages and then review of math problems. I also do a monthly math packet that's due every month, journals, and then it's also used as catch-up time, that first period. So if they're behind on any work, they can use that first period to catch up. Classwork is what I refer to as anything that we do in class. So it's nothing that's being sent home. It's classwork that is done throughout the day here. If for some reason it becomes routine that a child is not completing classwork, then it would go home for homework. But even if classwork is not finished, I usually allow other times throughout the day for them to get this done. So it's rare that it actually gets sent home from homework. So just keep that in mind if it ever does go home. Your child probably had multiple times to try to complete it. Spelling, you've probably all helped or guided your child on the spelling homework that we've had so far this year. So I usually just do a tic-tac-toe board, and when the spelling homework is assigned, they pick one box to complete that night. I do not give spelling homework the night before a test, so Thursdays they usually do not have spelling homework. Math. So the first couple of weeks in our math class, I review from second grade. And I know we have students that were remote last year, students that are joining us new to St. Therese this year. So those review units are very important, and I do spend a good amount of time on them. We'll be reviewing place value, addition, and subtraction strategies before we jump into new material. Our math curriculum focuses on multiplication, division, and fractions as what I consider new material. Some of your children might already be working on those concepts, but it is new to the third grade curriculum, meaning that typically they don't learn it in second grade, and it's being introduced this year. Social studies and science. For social studies and science, I focus on one unit at a time. So in the next week, I will be starting a social studies unit, and I will focus solely on social studies. We'll complete a unit, and then I'll switch over to a science unit. It's just easier, I think, for us to have it all solid together as a unit rather than jumping back and forth day to day, because we do not have time to do both in one day. So I like to focus on a sole unit and then move to the other subjects. So I'll flip-flop between those throughout the year. Handwriting. To begin with handwriting, as mentioned, we do that as part of our morning work. We start with manuscript or print writing for the first marking period. We'll review and practice that and then jump into cursive. But for the first marking period, I do ask that students write in print. In the second marking period, I'll let students have the option to start using cursive, or if they don't feel ready, they continue printing in the first marking, or in the second marking period, I'm sorry. IXL. We'll continue to use IXL for math and language arts this year. We use it in the classroom every week, but you're also able to use that at home for reinforcement. The children can go on at any time at home. I also think that it's available for Spanish this year. I can double check that, but I do believe they have Spanish in IXL as well. Tests. Usually I have a spelling, reading, and religion test every Friday. The other subjects, the days can be random. It all just depends on when our unit is finished. So they might have a math test on a Tuesday or possibly a Wednesday, but I always give 2 days notice before a test. Once tests are graded, I will send them home, and they are for you to keep at home. Anything I need, I will keep a copy of. Report cards. If you are returning to St. Therese this year, you know how the report cards work. It is the same for third grade as it was in second grade. For new families, our report card system for third grade is a 1 to 4 grading system. 1 meaning that we need to work on the concept, and 4 would be exceeding grade level. Please keep in mind for report cards for the first marking period, your child might have received a 4 in a concept in second grade, but it could possibly be dropped to a 2 or a 3. That does not mean that your child is regressing. Report cards just reset, I like to say, or start over, because I'm grading them based on a brand new school year in third grade and the third grade curriculum, not second grade. Next up, I have homework. So daily homework is assigned Monday through Thursdays. I typically do not give homework on Fridays unless it's a continuation of a project that's being done over the course of a few weeks. If a student forgets to do any homework, I know accidents happen, sometimes we forget. I'll just ask that they do it when they come in the morning, or between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. I'll give them the chance to complete an assignment if they forgot. However, if it does become a regular routine that homework is being forgotten about or not completed, students will have to do that on top of the next night's homework. I won't allow them to keep redoing it here in class if it becomes too frequent. My blog is posted every day. I usually try to have it up by 3 o'clock. That'll have the daily homework each night and also any important announcements. So I do ask that you try to check the blog every night with your child. We did favorite the tab on our Chromebooks, so they should know how to access the blog on their own. Google Classroom. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with it. Usually if your child is coming from a public school, they use it pretty often. I like to try and use Google Classroom as much as possible. However, I will be easing into it this year. That's how I usually do it every year. So at the moment, I'm just posting their spelling words and their tic-tac-toe boards. So if they lose those papers, they are in Google Classroom. And probably by third marking period, I'll be using it a little bit more frequently. Dismissal. At the end of the day, currently, I'm asking the students to stack up their books and anything they need to go home, and I'm doing a check on everyone's desk so that they know what they need to go home. As we get further into the year, probably by the end of this month, I'll stop doing a check on everyone's desk, and I'll ask that they look at the board where the homework is also written and have them prepare their books on their own just to build that responsibility. Bathroom breaks. Students are allowed to use the bathroom freely during their morning work time. That's our first period, during their snack, lunch, and recess, and again when we're packing up before dismissal. I know that there's obviously going to be other times where the bathroom is needed, so I give the children 2 emergencies just to limit the amount of times students are getting up during instruction. If you feel that your child might need to go more frequently, please just let me or the nurse know, and I will definitely accommodate for your child. Water bottles. It is still pretty humid in the building, so I allow for the class to keep water bottles at their desk. However, it does need to be water. I do not let students drink Gatorade or juice or any other liquids throughout the day. That needs to be saved for snack and lunch, but water can be kept at their desk all day long, especially with our masks. I know we need frequent water breaks. If it becomes a problem or it's too distracting, then waters will need to go back in the lockers. But for now, I will be keeping all waters out. So please remember to bring in a water bottle or have your child bring an extra just so they have that if needed. Next, I have Star of the Week. Our first Star of the Week brought in their poster this week. I know that Star of the Week was completed last year with Miss Taylor, if you were here at St. Therese. My poster is a little bit different, and I like doing it as well because it gives me a chance to get to know the students on a deeper level. I like to get to know their favorites, what they like to do, what they enjoy. So the Star of the Week is something that may seem a little repetitive, and I do apologize, but I really enjoy it. So I send that home on Friday for them to complete for Monday. Also with Star of the Week, I send home a little schedule of events. So each day the child who is our Star of the Week gets to do something special. Our multiplication challenge. That is big in 3rd grade. I had mentioned multiplication is introduced this year. I know some of your children already know their facts. That's fantastic. You can start working on multiplication facts at home if you haven't already. Our challenge usually starts at I would say at the middle of January. And we have a big celebration later in the spring because the students work very hard. It's completed over the course of several weeks. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it with them, and something will go home later in the year, probably beginning of January, to let you know how that works. Absences. If your child is absent at any point during the year, I usually gather the materials that they'll need for when they return. So once your child is back in school, that's when I'll start catching them up on work, and they can take anything home that needs to be completed. If you do have more than one child at the school and I'm able to send it home with a sibling, I will send it home with them. Otherwise, I just ask that you wait until they return to school to get the books and materials. Chromebooks. As I'm sure you've seen, the Chromebooks go home now this year. We started sending home Chromebooks with 3rd grade last year. With the pandemic still pretty present, it just allows for us, if at any point we were to go remote, you have the Chromebook at home already. Also, later in the year, not just yet, but I will assign certain assignments on the Chromebook for homework with the spelling tic-tac-toe. For now, though, all they need the Chromebook for at home is checking the blog, and then it can go right back in their backpack, unless, of course, you'd like them to do IXL on there for reinforcement. But please just remember to charge the Chromebooks every night and have them return to school every day, because the students do use them every morning when they come in, and then, of course, they need them for computer class. Last point that I have today is the Remind app. I still have a few parents that are not on the Remind app for my class just yet, so if you could please join that as soon as possible. I use that to alert you of anything important going on or different reminders. I usually use the Remind app about once a week. I don't alert every night. And it's just a great way to contact me throughout the day. I do check the Remind app more often than my email just because it comes right through on my Apple Watch. So quick things like before care, after care, car rider, things like that that I need to know, I see pretty quickly. But you can also still reach me through email. I usually check that during specials, lunch, and again before the end of the day. I try to check that. Thank you so much for watching this today. I wish that it had been in person, but we're just trying to keep everyone safe as we begin this school year. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. And before I let you go, I did just want to share a few pictures of our classroom. So I'm going to show those in just a minute because unfortunately, this year, you're not able to come in and see. Hopefully that changes later in the year, but I did just want to give you a quick picture of our classroom for anyone that hasn't been able to see it in past years. Thank you again for watching my video. I know we're going to have a fantastic year. The children have been great so far. I'm really enjoying having them in my class this year, and I know we have a lot of fun in store for us. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope I get to see you all soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.